I bet you guys can guess what I've been watching. It's obviously. How you doing? Lovely to see you tonight or this morning. Well, it is time zone fairly similar. How you doing? My liege, I return, or as I always have. You have all. I appreciate that. Sure for me. Red blush. Let me guess. It was One Piece. No, it's not actually One Piece. That is intro, a title song for Jitsu Kaisen. Jitsu Kaisen season. I've been watching that, and holy fuck, is it good! It's very like classic Jujutsu Kaisen, so a little bit goofy, a little bit all over the place, but really awesome. Holy shit! I haven't watched Jujutsu Kaisen. Watch it. So good. Oh, so good. And the new song, it's a little lacking compared to the other one, but it's like I still like it. So I thought I'd start uh, tonight's stream, uh, tonight's stream with title song from Kaisen part like half two. The picture for your character go through? I hope so. If not, I'll send it again. Yep, it went through. I saw the troll. It's the troll from Minas Tirith, or just Lord of the Rings, the Lord of the Rings movie. I don't think it. Moria. I can't believe I forgot that. What a fucking nerd. That's so. Yeah. It's Moria, not Minas Tirith. I don't know. That being said, it might be that underground place with the ghosts. I don't know. I only know Lord of the Rings. Other than that, it's fuzzy. But as we get closer to Timberstone, I will draw up some art for him, that character, making a little bit of touches to that panel. He doesn't look exactly like that. That's fine. It's not a big deal. Yeah, yeah. No, I know. There'll be some artistic license. Hey, goat, how you doing? Hope you're well. It's fine. Eve slash morning. Good. That's good. Love to hear it. I'm good. I'm like I'm pretty tired. Had a big day. My day felt like it was pretty much over by like 12, but that's how big it was. Running, uh, shopping. I went to a gallery exhibition. Um, but all in all, very, very busy. Came a bit afternoon. Or a chilled out afternoon. But just too tired to kind of enjoy it fully. Not enjoy. You know what I mean? Like you're tired and you're just tired. That was me. No, you got it right. It's Troll from Moria. To be honest, I don't know trolls besides all the rings either, so who cares? That's fair. I mean, I know D&D trolls, and they're slightly different. Um, but not that that matters. Um, not doing. I'm kind of taking steps away from D&D. Don't mind having a troll. over a D&D, I believe. It's not that big. That's a fucking loud as well. Hold on. Let me turn down the touch. Yeah, that is much better. Much quieter. People will be know that I've gotten a lot of positive reception from Reg playthrough from Friday. Caused me to have a bump up in YouTube and subscribers. I post all my archived stuff there. You like the highlights. It's always lovely to hear. It's nice to get back. Hey, Tiny Tony! Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, Tiny Tony, and wonderful. How are you all doing? Thank you so much for the raid, Tony. Very, very much appreciated. I'm flattered. Flattered to. Hello, we just started up as well. Oh, I'm humbled and flattered. I have no raid message. I have no raid message. Welcome, welcome. For those of you who have not heard of me or have not seen me before, I'm Grey Mouse Inc. I'm an Australian illustrator currently working on a comic series called Ratchet and the a series that was based on a D&D campaign that never fully. How am I doing? I'm doing good. I'm good. I've felt like kind of tired and lethargic all day, but otherwise I'm all right. I've had a coffee. I'm starting to perk up. My my mood is building, so that's always good. How are you? I wanted to catch a stream for a little while, and I was probably flattered and humbled to see you. If you guys want to see a little update, this is what I'm working on. Streamed again after not being able to stream. Oh, nice. Oh, it's have you back. See you again. See you back and Twitch. Lovely. Yeah, I did notice with the your tweet up. Made some derpy animations. Ah, oh, that's awesome. Your animations are fantastic. They emotes. I saw you were looking at trying out a few. If so, how'd it go? I bet they look good. Terrible side. Apologies. I'm taking a break from emotes. I made a doodle turned into an animated thing. Oh, that's awesome. Just the creatives kind of um process is great that you like it was just drawing at first and then you were like I can make this an animation. Kept going with it. That's awesome. Glad to hear. Would I like to see it? I would love to see it. You're free to post links and stuff. Yeah, I have no permit or I just feel like post a link. Ah, sweet. Oh, it's cute. It's cute. And then, do you mind if I show it off to everybody? Sure, go ahead. So, manga no. No, manga means what? There we go. Hey. Mass transition is so cute. Hey, I do what I can, you know. We're all creatives and we have like these ideas that grow into something else, you know. I think like that is I had that I had that idea one night when I was like I had woke up in a cold sweat and I was like, what if I had the transition be a mouse moving a camera? That was it. I couldn't anything else for the rest of the evening. I was like so tired, but I woke up and I knew I had to do it, and so that's why I have that trend. Like that is so cute. That's such a sweet. It's got so much character too. It's so cute. I'm a big fan of your work. I'm zooming out just so that everyone. But that's yeah, big fan of your work. It was a doodle, but it turned out so funny. Oh yeah, that's brimming with personality. I can definitely appreciate that. Just yeah, gorgeous, fantastic. I very impressed. I'd love to I'd love to pick your brains about animation at some. I like animation, but I feel like I always struggle with patience for it sometimes. So when you're streaming, question. That's all right, of course. Oh my, your brain is empty. Learning animation as an amateur in piece. Fair enough. We could always share notes. I have no notes. Like, be happy to share anything. Actually, also, while I still have you here, have you checked out the little reference comic? Show it now. More detail if you'd like. Better you. I haven't yet. I'd love to if you have a link. I don't have a link. I have it here. I have the actually available right now. So, we've got this little tavern. And so I thought I'd add like a lunchtime special, which like, you know, because all taverns have a link and stuff. It's being made right as we speak. Yeah, I've got all the pages up available, so I could always just jump to them. So I thought it would be nice and like sweet. You're a dish, tiny Tony baked bean. Yeah. And I'll do an actual. So like I thought this would be a lovely little reference because also ultimately you have bean in your name, so I may as well add like a baked bean kind of dish to it. And then also like I will have a drawn cameo for you at some. I like to draw other streams. My comic is the main thing. I just go, I may as well just add people in. So you will see yourself. Yeah, it's my pleasure. I'm always more than happy to feed you and like fan of you know butter. Great cameo. Yeah, it's cool. It's a bit of fun. Yeah. No, it's so precious. Oh, posture. Ah. Yeah. prawning. I was becoming a prawn because I want to be like the Lovecraft creatures seen in Dredge, a game that is very quickly favorited. Broken nose for messaging. Every time I go live, that message. I always know. Fantastic. Popular, but only when terrible I like I could probably do a thing whenever I'm drawing or drawing cameos from other streams. Probably set a reminder in my chat. People, if people see me working on that character, they I can be like, "This is them. This is their stream. Go check them out." Because I probably cross promote. So then people also can face to a name or a name to a face. Really. Ray review. Ooh, not sure what show to put, but what show is TV junk food to you? And by that I mean sense of very mediocre. Oh, so like mediocre but watchable, or very like a show that you can like kind of. It's like it doesn't have like a whole lot of substance, but watch. You leave not feeling very good afterwards, but it's nutrition essentially visual nutrition. I feel like I probably have an answer for to go through my brain box. What kind of like watchable, like not like substance, not high substance. I think after a certain point, Scrubs is like, but I think after a certain point, me anyway, Brooklyn Nine was very much like the junk food shows. That some episodes were definitely better than others. You could kind of like just watch through. And with that in mind, or from saying that, I also feel like Legend of Korra is not is can kind of fall that category. Sorry for the wording. I mean, sure, it's watchable, but when you think of it, it's just it was all right. Okay, so watchable, you can get through it all, but then when you look back on it, yeah, that was um a lurk for a bit, Grey Mouse. I'll just go make myself some lunch. Good luck with the comic. Fair enough. Go make some lunch. Enjoy lunch. Thank you so much again for the raid. Very much appreciated. Very kind of you. Uh, yeah, something that's or like fine. I actually Brooklyn 99 is still full. Like, um, yeah, I would say Brooklyn Nine was that one for me. Uh, on top of it's also it's kind of like it's a big question. Ultimately, I can't. I have a mentality that if it's something that I'm just like while watching it, then I don't really watch it. Actually, when I say that, I probably also would include Peaky Blinders in it. In that Peaky Blinders is great or good, you know, and it's got a great cast and all that kind of stuff. But there's so much of it that it does just feel like you're kind of working through um fodder almost. I guess get what I mean. Maka currently looks really cross-eyed, so I just that possible. Oh, Maka. Yeah. So Peaky Blinders. I enjoyed the first season, but then after a point, it started to be very same. And not to say that's bad, because like that will be enjoyable. There's a common misconception, similarities. Yes, so that's a bad thing. Not necessarily a bad thing. Great though. That's why it's a complicated answer or question. Yeah, I would say mine is. So was Korra really that bad? I hear barely anything about it, and the best I hear, not hate. Legend of Korra was fine. That's the thing. I think it wasn't bad. It was fine, but Avatar for a successor to Avatar, it wasn't good enough. It also does a lot of shit on the old, like on Avatar. One of the ways it tries to try to a flawed protagonist, and that again is not a bad thing. It's actually kind of good to have a flawed protagonist every now and then. But Aura is a flawed protagonist in that she is arrogant and she has issues with authority despite being ultimately the utmost authority in this world. She's an avatar. She's bring balance and peace, except she kind of uses that power as a tyrant a lot of the time. However, in the show, rarely she's rarely significantly punished for her action, and someone is always kind of there to bail her out. Um, that being said, she does have a character arc, and she becomes a more kind of rounded character, and also she kind of got to give her way there. She's being, and also she has a responsibility, but the series just is very strong, and it's not very strongly written either. And I think one of the reasons for that way is that big to write a uh, engrossing, engaging sequel, something that doesn't contain the main cast in a way that you feel comforted, like the presence of Gang or Aang's team. They're there. Aang's gone, but it's not the same because dynamic is completely. They're old now, lived full lives and things like that. So any similarities they have to the characters that like grew attached to is different. They've gone through lifetimes of change, and that can be confronting. For some reason, you keep cutting out. I'll hear you say so. The is going very well. So when it's hard, I know it's not your fault though, but you are okay. Is it because I'm slightly far away from the mic? If I need to be closer, I can. Let me check. Is that testing? Testing. 1 2 1 2. If I'm cutting out, it also could be just the way I'm talking as well. That probably doesn't help. Maybe, but I guess try it anyways. I'll give it a shot. So I'll pop it there, pop the mic here, and that works. Let me know, better or worse, better or worse. Not saying anything, I'm drinking coffee. Better or worse, better or worse. So Korra is flawed, which is fine. Hero should be flawed, but she's arrogant. And what else? Well, it's the art direction is fantastic. So the world is beautiful, and that doesn't surprise me even slightly for the creators of Avatar, who created this beautiful, beautiful world. That's probably better. Thank you. Regardless, does it, even if it doesn't work. Oh, good. It's always good to know at the very least. I hear you better. Sweet. So it was far away, and I guess the noise gate probably was cutting out the more like quiet mumbly tones of my voice. Um so where was I? It's also the story's not that compelling. Um like it's not hugely compelling. They kind of jump from different plot points to different arcs to arcs every single arc, and they almost feel unrelated. It's just Korra kind of dealing with issues that kind of expand beyond their means because she's not because they're huge problems, but because she's slightly incompetent at managing them, and her team are slightly incompetent at managing them, which is a bit scuffed or rough in a sense. One of the big things for me was that yeah, it's all about character, and her team aren't very good in terms of that. In that, none of the characters are really that fleshed out. There is a meme that I've seen that is actually really good at explaining this, but basically, each of the characters of Legend of Korra fall into a singular stereotype, and comparatively, each of the characters' stereotypes fits into one character aspect of what soccer was. So essentially, the team behind the Avatar is just soccer, but in multiple pieces. And sure, Korra could be not as bad, but is still good. But when we get a show like Avatar, they need to hit this out of the park, and then they can do that stuff of yeah, we're cool, know it, but we'll let everyone else say it for us. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't like. I also feel like a series like Legend of Korra wasn't going to do well anyway, and I don't think people understand why as well. And it's that because Aang's arc is over, no one is necessarily compelled to keep watching because we don't want to hear a story in the same universe about essentially the same character. And one of the tragic parts of the reincarnation kind of point of the Avatar is that you're basically getting the same character again in the same kind of aspect. But what made things worse in a sense is that because Korra, the very first episode shows Korra as almost a prodigy, where she's mastered all of the bend. Well, she's not mastered, but she can use all of the bending styles except air from when she was a baby. So the moment like she was a baby, and then she could kind of fire bend, earth bend, and water bend. And it's like, well, now we don't feel necessarily compelled to watch her grow because she's already got all these powers. Like she's already like gained a huge amount of strength or has a huge amount of strength without earning a lot of it. And as a result, we're not necessarily worried for her. We don't care about her necessarily. We're not given reason to care about her. Big thing. And that's one thing I'm learning about. It's like I'm learning about how to make compelling and likable characters. And I could break this down into multiple different avenues, but there are multiple like spaces where a character like Korra doesn't necessarily work because she doesn't scream likable character to or likable protagonist to us, which is a problem. Protagonist. A sequel to Avatar can't be, well, it was pretty good. No, it has to be even better or just as good. Yeah, absolutely. But I also don't think it could have been well, is the thing. And it's because we cared about Aang and the gang, and we don't want to see in a world in which Aang is gone. Wait. Korra knows all types of bending, even when she's a child. That's so much of the Avatar just gone. So the opening scene to Legend of Korra is the White Lotus, which have now been like hugely dissolved and kind of destroyed by the story, um, and the events of time passing. But the White Lotus are searching for the next Avatar as Aang has passed away. He's also the first one of the gang, second one other than Sokka to pass away. Which is bullshit because he was maybe one of the youngest members of the gang. But the opening scene is the White Lotus searching for the Avatar, and then family are like, Korra's family are like, your search is over. The Avatar is here. And Korra comes bursting through a wall, earthbending, though she's part of the Water Nation. So she earthbends through the wall and goes, I'm the Avatar, deal with it. And then firebends and then water bends to put the fire out. So we have no reason to care for this character. And that's the problem. When does Aang officially learn all four bendings? Like season 3? Yeah, well, he doesn't master any of them until he's an adult. He learns all forms. He doesn't actually master any bending form other than air, which he mastered at the age of 12. And one thing you need to understand as well is that Aang, in his time, was considered a prodigy. You don't get the tattoos until you've mastered all 112 airbending techniques. Which this is some background knowledge to Avatar. You don't get the tattoos on your head like Aang does until you've mastered airbending. And he had them when he was 12, which is huge. The only other airbender to gain their tattoos at such a young age is Jinora in Legend of Korra, and she was also considered a prodigy. Yeah, and the fact that it kind of undersells a lot of the time and learning that it takes to learn bending styles. I don't know much about Avatar: The Last Airbender lore, but I feel like the White Lotus are people who need to exist regardless of time, place, or era. No, so sorry. The White Lotus are basically this secret underground kind of government that helps serve balance, and their only role is to serve balance. In Legend of Korra, they're basically military police, and that's it. And they're really like watered down, like strongly. They're not like the strongest benders of their nation. They are just like any kind of benders at this time, which is really disappointing because it's like the White Lotus lose all their mystique and their intrigue because they're essentially like Kingsguard. Oh, really? I never knew that's how you got the tattoos in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, so because of the airbenders, like spiritual connection and their spiritual beliefs, needed to master airbending to get tattoos. Oh, so not only have they changed, but their whole organization has changed. Yeah, exactly. So the White Lotus were headed up by some of the oldest and wisest of each nation, including Iroh and Bumi, two element benders who were considered immensely wise amongst their people. And then in Legend of Korra, it's just like any schmuck who applies, and essentially. Um, but it actually gets me onto the next point, which is one of the things that I hate most about what they changed about the Avatar universe. Hold on, let me. There we go. And it's that because of the changing times, the bending styles are hugely down, which is maybe the most tragic part. So each of the bending styles is based in an actual form of martial arts. However, in and so each of them have different like spiritualities and philosophies about how you should fight and the source of which you gain your strength in these fights. Yeah, Avatar: The Last Airbender, the White Lotus are the goats, and then they, with the help of Iroh, who tried to conquer Ba Sing Se, eventually take back Ba Sing Se by themselves. Yeah, exactly. They're awesome. They're fantastic kind of characters. But so, a perfect example of the watering down of the bending styles is that in Avatar: The Last Airbender, what's her name? It goes to show, like, I know a lot about Avatar: The Last Airbender, but then I've forgotten Toph's name. So Toph says to Aang, you need to be grounded like a rock in order to earthbend. It's a stubbornness, and it is in the origins of grounding oneself to the earth that we gain the power of earthbending, or that we derive earthbending from uh, the elements. In Legend of Korra, one of the first lines of teaching that Korra gets about earthbending is from Boomy, not Boomy, Bolin, during the, it's like a tournament kind of thing that they're doing. It's really boring. It's like maybe one of the most boring parts of the show, that like tournament arc. But he says, and I quote, that's good form, but you should really be light on your feet." And it completely dismisses everything that in the bending kind of philosophy and spirituality. Sucks. And then Iroh says something like, "A firebender feels this kind of power only once in 100 years. He's breathing so hard from Sozin's comet. Uh, Fire is pacing at his breathing, so you know, oh, this Brunoi means business, not here to fuck around." Yeah, absolutely. The sheer power they have and command because of Sozin's comet is fantastic. It's a fantastic scene. Blood on your feet, that sounds like airbending. It does sound like airbending. The one the one bending style that Korra can't do for the entire first season. And what's worse is the animation around bending is so fluid that basically swinging your arms could be any element. And it's animated as such, in that there are scenes where Korra, like, basically swings her arm forward and then earth bends. But it could have also been air bending or fire bending, and it almost feels lazy, which sucks. It's such a shitty kind of thing to have to, like, point out, is that they basically created this whole world in like this whole world building in bending styles and the history of bending, and then they kind of just threw it away because they didn't care about it, because it didn't matter. Fire sounds like be a monster but control it. Earth sounds like brute force. Sounds like rapid move. But that's just me. Who the fuck am I? It's one of those things. Like, yeah, it's one of those things. It's like that's a really good kind of breakdown of what a lot of the bending styles are. Water, and that also what's like fascinating is that they all bleed into themselves or bleed into each other, because that is what balance is. It's like there is a nature of, you can't create fire without air. You can't create earth without water. You can't shape earth without water. Things like that. Um, but yeah, It's just disappointing that they don't care about it in Legend of Korra. Then you have spirit bending eventually, which is dumb as fuck. They need a reason for Korra to be awesome. Give her spirit bending, which Aang had in a sense. Well, he could take away someone's bending. That was it. And it feels really weird and out of place that you can basically bend spirit energy, which is crap. It's just like garbage that they added so that they could have just a little bit of a one up, which is a little annoying. But it's also the nature of story. If you're going to have a sequel to something, you have to escalate, and so you had to escalate the bending powers that Avatar gets. And got spirit bending, and I actually think the spirit bending ending of the Sozin's Comet arc is actually one of the worst parts of Avatar: The Last Airbender, where Aang basically just gets an out to not kill. He has this really difficult decision that he has to make whether or not he is willing to do what he needs to maintain balance, and then he's just given spirit bending, and it's the one thing I actually really dislike about Avatar: The Last Airbender. He doesn't have to kill; he's given an out. He's just kind of given an opportunity to kind of stick to his values and not change as a character. And Boomy's saying, be light on your feet. Wouldn't be so bad if Toph didn't say what she said. I'd still say it's wrong, but if Korra was the only thing that existed, at least it's not retconning law. Exactly, exactly. It's kind of it's backpedaling on stuff that was so well established and built in, um, derived from actual, our history, human history. Like, it actually had groundings in martial arts. That's what's almost so frustrating about it. It had this like years of research and actual like fight choreography research and things like that, and then like, yeah, we're not doing that for Legend of Korra. We don't care, or I assume they do care, but not enough to actually stick to that. Boomy said, "Be light on your feet," but only Korra existed. I can't say, but there's this better interpretation. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I also hate that. Also, Suki is never mentioned. Suki is completely erased from Legend of Korra, which is actually deeply disrespectful because it's like she was a member of the gang. She was a hugely respected member of the gang. Sokka's love interest, all these kinds of things. It's erased. She does not exist. She makes no appearance. She's never mentioned in Legend of Korra. Wait, no, Suki, why the fuck not? No one knows. She's just never mentioned. No one talks about her. Sokka's dead. So he Sokka is only shown like once in a flashback, and that's it. Um, yeah, like a lot of the characters from uh from Avatar: The Last Airbender really get dunked on in it, and get shit on a lot because they needed to kind of create story aspects of like, oh, these characters weren't perfect. They aren't, but they weren't flawed in this kind of way, in the way that they should, in the way that they're being depicted as in Legend of Korra. She's like Sokka in a lot of ways, funny, badass, not a bender, but you still want her on your side. Yeah, absolutely. She was uh, and immensely useful to the team, and like her character arc was still deeply fascinating. She suffered a great deal just to make sure that the Avatar achieved his goals. And freaking the upper bit from Tales of Ba Sing Se, heartbreaking, but she was there to help him. He saved Appa, stuff like that. Risk of imprisonment, saved Appa. I saw a video about Aang never killing anyone or anything. Like he's killing people directly or indirectly. Killing people. Like Mouse, what airbending temple had people living in it? Hold on, go back, reread that. A video about Aang never killing or anything, and he's killing people directly or indirectly. Like Mouse, what airbending living in it? There was one airbending temple that had people living in it, but that was because people had moved into it. Refugees had moved in. Like long after airbenders live in the temple. Yeah, just the one, I think. That one that the inventor was living in, or the inventor and his refugee living in. But other than that, no one. Which I also think is like fair. You wouldn't really want to live in a place that was uh, the home of a genocide. Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't live in a place like that. If there'd been a genocide, I'm out. I'm not staying there. So yes, yes. So in that episode, Aang moves Snow to drop the Fire Nation soldiers, which does kill them. So I won't go into whether or not Aang should or shouldn't kill. It does kill people. Well, it's never explicitly said that they died, and that's the rule I'm going with. Never explicitly said that they died, so we can't assume that killed them. That's my logic anyway. That's my kind of stance on it. Is that there's no explicit uh instance telling us that killed them or that they died. So if they didn't die but were just gravely wounded, then we got the Batman school of logic where he didn't kill. You know, that's my stance. So can you imagine what a freaking plot twist if he was like to Avatar Yang Chen, just like I don't want to kill because I want to uh go to Airbender heaven, and then he's like, and then she's just like, well, you're not already cast out of there because you killed that one guy in that one place. You won't die, but it'll be worse. Both Aang and Batman probably. Yeah, your hospital bills will kill you. That's for sure. That's for damn sure. So I need quick. Still too bulbous. That's cool. Want cool. And I mean, it is a difficult kind of like space to be in as well as Aang. You know, he should have kind of given up. He needs to be maintaining balance, you know. So he probably should commit murder. No, he should be doing what he needs to maintain balance. And sadly, if that does mean life, because they refuse to maintain that balance, then hey, that's also Mouse about Avatar: The Last Airbender. What I was thinking about what they do and what would Aang and the rest do is a lot of cleanup, for lack of a better term, where they go Fire Nation hideouts and people die who are diehard fanatics of the Fire Lord, and then there's stakes. Yeah, well, there's that. The one thing that does have stakes, though, one thing that was kind of interesting to see, to hear about, but it wouldn't have made sense to play out in an actual series, is that at the end of season 3, Zuko talks to his father, and he wants to find out where his mother is. So there's a comic that follows that adventure where he actually goes looking for his mother. The problem with that is it wouldn't have lasted as a series, like a TV show. It doesn't, like, as a standalone series, like, the stakes aren't there. It's like what I was talking about with Castlevania. Yeah, I heard about the comic and it was great as a comic. Yeah, yeah, because it's its own kind of thing, which is great. And it worked really well, and I'm really happy for it. But yeah, as I was saying, it wouldn't have worked as a TV series or a TV show. Oh, it's not important. It like started in a way that seemed quite important. So I was like, hold on, it'd be very important. Fine. It was fine. Close together. Because if it was a show, then what do they do? Take out random robbers and Fire Nation lawyers. Bring honest. Yeah, exactly. It's a lovely exploration and it's really nice world building, but it is almost more slice of life, anything, which is not a bad thing. Like it's never a bad thing. I love the comics, like the Avatar comics, because they are really like they expand on that universe in a really nice way. But and it is a really nice way of having a format show. Doesn't maybe do too much doing a work assignment, but I have gone in the background. All good, man. All good, goat. You do that assignment. You smash that shit. Because if it was a show, then what do they? Oh yeah, that it's the daily life stuff, but it's kind of boring. But obviously, thing. Yeah, exactly. And it can be interesting in a comic form. Maybe not so in uh a show format, which is fine. It's totally okay. I know that like stuff from Rat Baby maybe wouldn't translate quite so well to a TV show. There's a lot of shit going on in this comic, but yeah, like that's okay. That's part of what makes storytelling, you know, the ability to adapt and not just adapt to the screen, but adapt to kind of formats. Thing about making content, making shows, and what I liked about like Legend of Korra is that they had the opportunity to kind of explore that world years on, which I did like. I really liked the futurism or the modernism um, of the world. The fact that like a lot of non-benders are like have not been made completely redundant in the that. Why is he blushing? You gotta add a little bit of texture. You gotta add a little bit of texture. You are right though. He's a little too red. Gotta give him slightly less texture. But yeah, I like to add a little bit of blush because it makes them gives them a bit of texture to their face. The bright red is maybe too much. So I gotta bring that down and just oh, add a little bit of highlights. That's maybe a bit Strong. We'll see. We'll see. That's okay. Oh, I thought it was because something happened in that scene. No, nothing happened in that scene, but it's a really good point, and the fact that you point when you pointed it out, I saw it too. I was just like, "Ooh, it's a little strong." Blush is slightly too strong because it's a little more subtle in previous. So I can, so I will definitely soften it. And now, whether or not Avatar: The Last Airbender should have ended with Zuko demanding his father what happened to his mother was a good ending. I don't know about that. Oh, that's fine because like to me, I think it's not that's not sequel bait. In a sense, that's realism in that he would want to know. So why not just have him ask when he's talking to his dad? I didn't mind that at all. I thought that was okay. There are certain aspects of the story, but like yeah, certain things like giving Aang the ability, like a catch 20, a wild card to stop him from compromising his morals. I don't care for. I don't care for that. Make Aang kill if you have to. Find a better way or make Aang kill. Make the boy do murder. Well, it makes sense. He wants to know, but I also wanted to know what happened to his mother and didn't know for years. That's fair. That's a fair point, honestly. Fair point, very well presented, I would say. Yeah, in that aspect, that's a bit of a jip, isn't it? A bit of a nasty pasty. Maybe that goes to show that I just didn't care. I didn't care about Zuko's mum enough to actually be concerned about it, and I think that might be a problem for me. Because yeah, it was a big thing, wasn't it? Finding out where Zuko's mum had gone. It was important. Definitely not saying it wasn't. I do apologize on my wording, but yeah, of course he'd ask a lot of fans. Think know really what did happen. Yeah, exactly, and that is a really good point. I appreciate that perspective. Sure, actually, because like yeah, people would, and Zuko definitely would. But then also yeah, it does set expectations. So I can respect that perspective. Sure. There you go. That's slightly better, slightly softer. We don't need too much. Don't need too much blush. Working out these. Oh man, I love Avatar. It's such a good. Would I watch it again? Maybe. Would I watch it again immediately? Have any more? I do. Yippee! Oh, I love caffeine. Ugh. I'm an addict. Addicted to caffeine. Bad. Real bad way. My coffee addiction. Uh, Making me constantly awake. Is that a bad thing? Not necessarily. Do I hate it? Yes. I want. I want to nap. I want to dream. Is this an Avatar Last Airbender song? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Oh my god, what are the chances? Quite high, but not that high, not high enough. Hey, we were talking about Avatar and we're listening to Avatar in Love. That goes to show how much I know about Avatar, is that I know the name of the song. It's called Avatar in Love. It only appears every time Aang is with Katara. Anytime Aang appears in scene with not an intimate or but even slightly romantic Katara, this song plays. Awesome. Amazing. What's next? We got Ratchet dropping some clovers into Naka's hand. Naka turning around to go into the kitchen, and a dynamic. And then I work on the dynamic section. Cool. We're almost done then. We're almost through. Oops. A little elf. All right. This one will be a bit complicated. That's fine. Love complicated. It makes my life difficult. And for me, it's a lot easier to get those answers because you go to the website of something that you love. Find law nerds. Go to YouTube. My answers will be there. But for a lot of people, they don't know where to go for answers. So I find myself a law nerd. Fine, but don't make answers so hidden. Like where is Zuko's mum? That's fair. That's fair. No, that's a fair point. I actually feel like I never had that. I mean, I've seen that they find spoilers. Seen that they find Zuko. Great. I'm very happy for them. But and also I think again spoilers, but doesn't Zuko have a half sister adult? Well, which is cool because like let's be honest, Zuko's mum deserved to be happy. She wasn't. She was kind of forced marriage. Horrible. She had a daughter who was deeply troubled. She couldn't help her. A lot going on in that. A lot of like little bits, which like uh, get to it. Let's get to the. Gotta do a quick save. Otherwise, I could lose shit. That would be bad. Duck. Go quick. That's a horrible looking duck. Go quick. I know his mum went to the creepy millipede guy with no face. Oh yeah, and all the faces and the bloods to erase her memory with arsehole Firelord, and then marries her true love, or so I'd assume. Does have half sister. Yeah, yeah. I remember seeing the half sister, and they get along really well, which is lovely because you know I want that to happen. I want that to be a thing. But yeah, one of those things. I just because I didn't read the comic. Should do, because I should be doing research for my comic. In good quality comic. I'll tell you what, I'd love to read, speaking of good quality comics, I'd love to read Invincible. If anyone watching has read Invincible, please speak to me about it because I'd love to read it. I just can't seem to find it right now. I almost like tempted to get the box set, like the box set of the comics. I've not watched it. I've not watched the Amazon series, but I could also do that, but I want to read the comics. Like, really want to. I'm not a huge fan of superhero comics, but superhero comics that actually subvert that expectation or subvert that tried and true storyline of, hero and stuff like that. I love. Yeah, you should read the Avatar: The Last Airbender comics. Maybe you'll get ideas. Actually, good art design. You motherfucker! No, son of a bitch. No, they do look good though. To be fair, to them and to disparage myself, they like the comics do look good from what I've seen. They never get Suki's eye color right though. Also something I've learned. But to be fair, I am also fallible. I make mistakes like that all the time. I'm not a pro tier comic illustrator. Mouse. But I'm getting there. If I was ever referred to as a professional comic artist or comic creator by someone I respected, that'd be the dream. My dream realized. They look good because they give a shit, unlike other artists. Saying, yeah, they do care. They do care about making art. Unlike some people, I'm just in it for the money. I'm just in it for the cash. Certainly not the companionship. Horrifically rude to me. Cash, baby. That's those sweet, sweet dollar bills. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm saying it like that. All trolling, but there you go. And then before I move on, I'm just draw some lines. Bookboard, which I will actually also be going back and reworking, just because I want to add a few more recipes and stuff like that. Because another thing I love to do is I actually love cooking, so I would actually like to add some recipes. Oh, yeah, I was totally trolling. Love you, Mass. Love you too. I know you were joking. I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned. Don't mind a little bit of harmless banter. Greymaster saved his file 14 times. I love that that's so significantly low. I've been working on this for a year. I've saved 14 times according to Twitch. I do kind of love that though. It's so inconsistently low. Was harmless banter under my breath. Step up the Game Boy. Send them in. Send them in. It's time. Drop the uh thinking. Drop the immensely controversial opinion. Say something that'll break this mouse's heart. Yo, mouse, I fucking hate you. Oh shit. That guy. First time chatter, and it's just like, hey, fuck you, mouse. Whoa. That's just hate. It's just hatred directed in front of me. And I wouldn't be giggling. That would make me cry. Um, and don't do this. Don't just like uh get your friends to jump in and say I hate you, mouse, just to make me cry because that's horrible. That's fucked up. You're like, what did I do to you? Oh, yo, you want to get banned from a stream in like 3 seconds? And she's like, hey, mouse, fuck yourself. Long. Actually, how did I? Yeah, it's just outside. They got the currencies called clover. They're called clovers. They look like clovers. Also, it's a symbol of luck, prosperity. I mean, it's a symbol of luck in our world too. But I also like the idea that coins looked like something else. Wait, don't do that. Call it off. I said call it off. Yes or no. Cash app you $50. Do it, but don't. It'll make him cry. Then you'll get banned. My favorite mod will come in and ban whoever makes me sad. Get an mod's name. But I'm really got this curve. Slightly better. I can live with it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't want to make the most sad. Can't handle him at his worst. So the thing is, and this is going to probably be a bit confusing first, but it'll start to make sense. But so the currency system is clovers. A three-leaf clover is essentially 5 gold, or 5 silver, and a four-leaf clover is essentially a gold, like a gold coin. If those of you who know D&D, D currency, that's kind of what it means. That clovers are basically like watered down, kind of. It's like NCR pre-war money. Caps. Yeah, exactly. Caps, clovers. Yeah. Honestly, that's good. That's actually a good example. Ratchet, like this is a grim thing to say, but Ratchet shouldn't have fingernails. Yes, thank you, Mouse. Yeah. 'Cause I like the idea of just having my own currencies. I know how I can do that. Not without putting effort, but easier for myself. Fluff effect. That color. Blackboard, same color as Ratchet's hair. I don't use black for filling in color. I use dark blue. I like the vibrancy. I just like the vibrancy. I like the vibe. Mouse, will there be maps to the world? No, M, that's a typo. Fair enough. Yeah, there will be. There is actually a. There will be both a map of Kaitiaki, which is the continent that we are currently on, and will remain on for most, if not all, of the comic. And depending on what people want or what people want to see, there will also be uh, a map of the wider continent. Not wider continent, the wider like world. So the world that I is called Regale. So this continent is called Kaitiaki, the land of the goblins. Uh, the world, like what we would call Earth, this place in this world is called Regale. For those of you, for those of you who are Hollow Knight fans, you could actually probably guess where this inspiration comes. The name Regale. However, yeah, that's basically the outer world. And then I might also do a map of the cloud top, so the giants' homeland, which is the cloud space above Etiaki, and what is expected to be most of Regale as well. Also, as the door. Fine work done. Yep, cool. That's all it's not an immensely complicated fix touch up, but you know, necessary. Might take some time tomorrow, just stream where I will work through some of the next drafts that get back into the flow of or build up that flow. I assume it will. It will. Oh, sorry, my brain just went flat. I assume it will be, but I'm asking anyways. But will the population scaling be accurate as possible? Like, for example, size of Australia have more population of Australia. Uh, does that make sense? So, are you asking, will the population be variable to to the land size? Is that what you're asking? If so, yes. But or if you have humans in the military, you can't just have 400,000 soldiers. Well, you could, but only if, of particularly large empires, whereas medieval empires had 5,000 soldiers. Yeah, exactly. That's what it would be. Yes, it will be variable to the land size. Yeah, so it will be variable to the land size, but also like not necessarily historically variable, but realistically according to means and history or something like that. So Kaitiaki is a newly uh, inhabited land for the empire. So as a result, population is quite small. However, it is growing. It is a growing population. for the Empire, that is. The population of goblins is quite high. However, it's got a growing kind of population of humans and elves and dwarves, and then additionally heaven-based creatures have kind of also found a place here in Katiaki. Hence why the cloud giants are most accessible here, essentially. Yeah, that's fine, doesn't have to be historically accurate. I mean, yeah, especially with other races like trolls and orcs, I guess you can just make up whatever rules you like, even if the law is pre-established. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I do have that kind of freedom. And so, but my kind of, for lack of a better word, rule around this is that uh, what used to be considered monstrous creatures like goblins and trolls and bugbears and things like that, there will be a higher population of them here in this part of the world. And then in the spin off series or spin off comics, there will be a higher population of humans or other like creatures, depending on continent or the continent there. The continent that the protagonist is, because there are some continents that are strongly like empire connected, and as a result, their population is much bigger. Whereas here in Kaitiaki, small towns are kind of what is considered the biggest cities amongst the empire, anyway. Like lore about trolls is already established, but it's easy as well. This is my universe, so fuck you. I know it's different, but last I heard, I didn't ask your opinion. Yeah, and that is always like if I feel like I don't have an answer, then that would probably be my answer. But I also have done a lot of like building in this kind of thing. I got a little bit of a backing, which is good. It's like stuff like trolls and that will exist here at Yaki. Because the world is like this continent is very different from the other continent. And as a result there is this strange kind of wondrous desire to have it as a part of the empire, and that's why the empire did take it. So as a result a lot of the goblins are displaced or moved moved around, some of whom ended up becoming being adopted into families because because of such because of the displacement. This is where we like this is where we get Ratchet has been displaced by his from his family. As a writing tactic, it really works for me because it means that Ratchet can be an outsider to his own world and slowly learn about it as the audience learns about it. A really nice learning tool. Well, not learning tool, but a story writing tool. So that's also one thing I'm working more and more on is building on that story writing. Gonna have plenty of resources for that, but it's like just reading books on how to write interesting characters. That that's work, but it's also important for the comic. I want to create kind of characters and world building. Very important. Also about Aang and the rest just doing cleanup and having no stakes. That's what I didn't like in Lord of the Rings: Return of the King book. Although I haven't read it, Saruman, Wormtongue, and a few hundred orcs go to war with the Shire. But you know who's going to win because it's after the war has been won, so just call upon the vast and professional armies of Gondor and go fuck a few orcs. No big deal. Sorry it's so long. That's okay. Not too long. I've read it. I've read it now. It's been read, so we're good. But yeah, like that ending bit where the Shire has been taken and stuff. Needless. A little bit needless. But that's also like the thing about books is that they kind of can do that. They can kind of get away with that. You can add as much as you want to it, as long as you don't do what they did in Dante and Aristotle. Uh, Discover the Secrets of the Universe did, where they kind of just rushed the ending. If it was during the war, then okay, that I can. Yeah, that's fair, but it was almost like a retaliation for losing, which almost seems unwise. Uh, Rush the ending. Oh yeah, in Dante and Aristotle discover the secret of the universe. It's a heartwarming, like, coming of age kind of story about two, uh, I think Mexican Americans who live on the border to Mexico, who kind of form a bond, and in at the end, so you follow, I think Dante as his friend Aristotle moves away from home, moves to New York, and slowly discovers um, truth of his sexuality, and realizes that he's gay, and that's and Dante feels kind of like separated from him because they now live so far apart, and they're not necessarily as connected. Because as you grow older, you kind of get further and further distant with friends from high school and stuff like that. It doesn't feel quite as connected and makes new friends and stuff like that. And he slowly kind of becomes more independent. And one of the things that it focuses on really strongly is that he works out to impress a girl, kind of get with a girl. And at the end of the, like, as it slowly gets closer and closer to the end of the book, they've not done anything to really establish a romance between Dante and Aristotle. So, as the ending looms, Dante's parents sit him down and tell him, "Hey, bud, you're gay. You are gay." And it's so weird. It almost comes out of nowhere, where they tell him you're gay, despite having the book being basically his inner thoughts and inner feelings, where he actually talks about attraction to this woman, and things like that. And basically, his parents sit him down and go, "You're gay, and you're in love with Aristotle." And he's just like, "Okay, you're right," and then goes off to find Aristotle, and that's where the book ends. And it almost feels like they didn't realize the end was coming. Yeah, his parents tell him. How does that work? Good God. Yeah, it genuinely, it is so weirdly written because it's like they sit him down and go, "Hey, do you realize that you're gay?" And it's so weird. As a bisexual uh man, one of the things that distresses me so much about writing is poorly done depictions of sexuality, um, and depictions of sexuality that almost kind of trivialize the process of attraction and romantic and things like that, and it's really distressing because it's so badly written, and it's supposed to be a coming of age story for what is supposed to be two gay, or one gay and one bisexual man. That's what's the knockoff Hunger Games book. This rates to rushing a story. I think it does, or I think it does. It's a movie series. Divergent or Maze Runner. One of those, I assume. Is that what you're talking about? I assume it's Divergent because I've heard a lot of like people talking about how shit Divergent is. Uh, Divergent. Okay, thank you. Give me a second. Yeah, Divergent is. I've heard Divergent is terrible. I've never invested a moment of my life into Divergent, so I have no idea what it's about. So if, from what you're telling me, Divergent rushes their ending, they had like multiple books. How could they rush their ending? I mean, I guess that's probably why it fell from the zeitgeist quite quickly. Okay, Mass, guess how fucking long, wow, my eyes hurt from knowing the answer, it took the writer to make the book, to make the first book. Ooh, it's either going to be really long or not long at all. I'm going to say 3 weeks. I'm going to go really short. So 3 weeks. 50 days. Oh shit. I mean, still bad. Holy crap. Yikes. You know, there's no quality coming out of that. I know that hurts you. Wow, yeah. I know like Stephen King wrote a lot of books very quickly, but that's King. I think he kind of gets an out. You know, his books of a different quality. Right. I say. No wonder why the movie's so mess since it made shitty ones, but also made good ones. I care a lot less. Yeah, exactly. He was very hit or miss. Was Stephen King, but he kind of had the freedom to be because he was writing like 100 a day or whatever. Well, not 100 a day, but like at least one a day. That will. I also forgot to draw double marker. Go back and do that now. Thinking of double. He needs it. Needs it. Uh, Next asked this to me last time I saw Next. What's your ride or die series? My ride or die series. Series I defend to the end, other than Avatar: The Last Airbender. Uh, I love The Bodyguard. That Netflix show about a guy like on the ant who basically the bodyguard for a minister who he ends up having a tryst with. And it's more so about coming home and soldiers, PTSD and trauma and stuff like that. But I really love that series and I rewatch it all the time. Another series that is it's barely a series actually, but like show I'm right I die for is Parasite from which is an anime. I love that. I love that anime so much. Squigglin. Yeah, but Parasite is maybe one of my favorite mangas of all time. Not manga, animes of all time. I'm pretty sure it's a manga as well, but like it's one of my favorites. Definitely Parasite. Very ride or die for that. I saw the shootout scene from The Bodyguard, and I guess I need to watch it from what you said. I really enjoyed it. It's really good at like building tension, uh, which I enjoyed. And Richard Madden is a fantastic actor. Uh, Rob Stark, Game of Thrones, great, very good actor. Underutilized in a lot of stuff, especially the Eternals. I don't even need to watch the Eternals to know he was wasted in that. But yeah, for a bit of Parasite, and I need to finish it. Yeah, it's only one season long, so it's immensely watchable. Watch it, and while you're at it, watch if you haven't seen it, watch Jujutsu Kaisen. Watch season one, then season two. Season two is out. Watch them both. Do it. Just freaking do it. Don't have a gay bone in my body, but holy shit, he's handsome. He's a beautiful man. Is. Yes. And it doesn't make you gay to be attracted to Richard Madden. He's beautiful. And as though my one critique uh, is that he's got a bad butt. And by bad butt, it's not a very. It's just he doesn't have an appealing butt. Sorry, Richard Madden, if you're watching. Ain't my kind of butt. His booty. Um, how did I put it when I described it? But you see his butt. Spoilers. You see his butt in The Bodyguard, but you also see his butt in Game of Thrones. So, like that should be news. You have a sense of what his butt probably looks like from if you've watched Game of Thrones. But speaking of butts, but as I've described it before, Richard Madden's butt kind of looks like it could fit into the space between the space in a hole and a brick wall. So a brick space in a hole in a brick wall. Or basically, it's the width and height of a brick. So not that appealing, at least to me. I would often say he's got a brick butt, a brick booty. If and all that like that shit I was saying before. So imagine you basically pulled a single brick out of a brick wall. If you saw Richard Madden's butt through this hole in the brick wall, it would be about the height and width of that brick that you just removed. That's what I mean. If that makes any sense, which I doubt it would, but I'm just hoping people will humor me. Humor me and my madness. Everybody's just like, oh, Grey Mouse, what will you say next? That's probably a controversial thing, I'll admit. Nick. Oh, shut. Monique. That looks orangey. Special. Said what people were thinking, but not they wanted to hear about Richard Madden Rick Butt. No, if Nev were here, she'd believe. Eh, Nev wouldn't. Not that I know that she's watched The Bodyguard. I never know that she's Canadian. But I believe that she would know. Like, hey, have you heard of Richard Madden? She'd be like, Rick Butt. Rick Butt? Yes. You know of him. Really not much that go into. Fantastic. Ooh. and just to draw kind of reflective light. This mine is COD Zombies, and the last good one was in 2015. But that and the three games before it, I'll die for. Ooh, that's game wise, game right or die for. Ooh, that's even harder. Actually, no, Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight, I would right or die for in a heartbeat. I love that game. I am really enjoying Dredge. That might get up there. We'll see how we go with the rest of the game, but I really have been enjoying Dredge. So that might be a ride or die for me. Uh, what's my media pet peeve? Is Hollow Knight hard or is it skill issue? I mean I guess it's a bit of both. I would never say skill issue. I'm not Loki, but like it's almost that process of like you'll get good at it. So it's just a matter of when. And I think that's for me that's what skill issue is. That you'll get good at it. It's just a matter of when. Um just call that Loki. Loki says skill issue all the time. Anytime I fail at anything, he says skill issue. So I'm not calling him out. He knows. He knows. He knows. He does it to himself. Um, media pet peeves in any form of media. That's a complicated question. How do you mean? I ask. As in, like, if you could give me an example of your own, that might help me kind of understand just a little bit better. That looks terrible. Took you too long. Wow, you take a long time. Probably. I mean, yeah, probably, but that's okay. We love him for it. Okay. Media pet peeve. We think. As a history buff and a history nerd, historical inaccuracies drive you. Oh, okay, drive you up the fucking wall. Although in games I give a lot of slack because it's hard to make a game historically accurate. But lighting arrows on fire wasn't a thing. Catapults didn't. Armies, cavalry should generally have lances or some kind of long range weapon to hit people far. And if the enemies have a weapon that on horseback can't hurt. Hmm. Okay, that I fully agree with. Having historical inaccuracy probably is a big one. I think mispronunciation for me. So I watched a documentary on called Fantastic Fungi, but throughout the entirety of it, it was kept pronouncing it fungi, and so I didn't believe a word they said because it sounded wrong, like it sounded like they were mispronouncing the word, so I didn't believe that they were expert. They couldn't even pronounce fungi. So yeah, I guess I learned that like pronunciation is really important to me. That's great. Hearing a word be said differently is weird. Yeah, I guess it like comes from that thing of like being Australian and then having the Queen's English be kind of important. So anytime I hear something pronounced, I mean, like I hate aluminium, but on top of that, yeah, something's pronounced wrong, I can't enjoy something. Uh, Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange, did a documentary penguins where he's penguins. Yeah, or and then it slowly gets worse, penglings and stuff like that. Yeah, I know that document. That one is kind of funny, but yeah, it's I can't take it seriously as a result. So yeah, that's a big one for me, I guess. And oh, actually, one thing I fucking hate: any depiction of eating can have character, and it's so one thing I've learned is that in a way, it's a way of making you uh endear you to a character is that if they eat and eat food, then it makes them human. So identify with that. However, any depiction of chewing on screen makes me physically ill and violently angry. So I hate that. Uh, is it GIF or GIF? GIF, because the G stands for graphics or graphic. It's like no argument to me works because G stands for graphic. Okay, chewing, especially with the goddamn mouth open, is absolutely gross and close your fucking mouth. So savage Viking. Yeah, exactly. I hate, yeah, any depiction of chewing on screen. I hate, and I actually hate the character as a result. And I've talked about this plenty of times, but I came up with a term for it. But if someone like the moment you see chewing on screen, you immediately hate the character. And so it's what I refer to as the Denethor effect, like Denethor from Lord of the Rings, where basically you hate that character and then it's made worse because he chews like a pig, intentionally, of course, so that you actually, to ensure that you hate him. Yeah, I don't like chewing, so as a result, I don't like chewing. Well, not as a result. To answer your question, I dislike chewing. Did I see all of Game of Thrones? To a certain point, I didn't watch all of it. I think I stopped watching well before people started having critiques of it. But yeah. I hate it. Hate it. Hate it. Ugh. Not a fan. Remember that when Samuel Tarly cured Ormond of Grayscale after basically skinned him alive, he cuts to him and pus comes out. I do apologize how gross it is, bear with me. It cuts to a grey, to a guy digging into a pie, and gooiness of the pie reminds you of that, of people of the past. Oh, that's disgusting. Yeah, no, that's horrible. That's really dumb. Because it's like, cool, you've just put everyone off their food if they were eating while watching this. God damn it, yeah. Send you a link right now. Hold on. I'm not watching that link. That's what happens. I ain't watching that. I believe you. Oh, right. Oh, hold on. Okay, I totally didn't just send it to you in Discord. You'll like it, I promise. I know you will. I'm not watching it. I ain't watching it. I ain't recently. Probably not that recent. Do it. I ain't doing it. Hold on, I'll be back. Check this. Oh, my disc. Fucking up. This one, Grimace. This one, Grimace. Oop. Oh, I hate that. Little button that. Do it, no balls. Careful, mate. Oh, yeah, no. ugh. Like it now. Watched it out. Now icky. I don't like pus stuff. Dude, I bet you won't. I'm not going to, no. Done. I did do it. I hit play. I stopped. Done your deal. Just didn't like the outcome of it. Fuck yourself. Not playing it. It looked good transition, but wrong show for it, I would say. Especially since it lost all good faith with it. So that's why. Also in fantasy settings when strategies or weapons, I hate that as well. Yes, it's fantasy, but if you have a shield, use it properly. Don't just not use. Yeah, absolutely. That's dumb. Not use it. Don't make sense. Have it use it. Not. Uh, don't like it. To me, if you're gonna have something fantasy, actually make up something that's totally fictional, then I guess do whatever. Yeah, I guess in that sense, it's like, yeah, pop off, King, do whatever you like. But yeah, if it's real, then you kind of need to obey the law, how it works. I hate that, and not a fan of that. Don't like using diagonal light for eyes or actually strongly reflective things. Do so. Hate it. Ugh. Not a fan. Fan. There's also the rule of cool, like using scythe in Game of Thrones at the wall with the battle against the wildlings. Sure, it's most likely too heavy for the wall, and it could never actually be held up. Like, but it's very cool. Yeah, exactly. There is a rule of cool with that as well. Kind of important. The thing. Guys, you can use improvised weaponry. Yeah, it's still a certain importance. The item much. Throat and line. Cool. Done with that. Done with that page. Oop. Okay, what's next? Yes. Did you meet? Senpai noticed me. Hi, Mr. Mouse. Hello, Tio. How is you doing? Matter. Don't matter. Don't know if I'm but that. No, actually, no. I ain't watching your fucked pie video. I'm talking about. Yeah, don't even. Don't worry. Talking about video that Zombie Slayer tried to make me watch. Not gonna watch. I tain't watching it. Rough. I won't go into it more interestingly. I've been learning proper 3D modeling. Try and get streaming soon. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, good on you. Well, I'm sorry to hear about the roughness of the day or week, but like I'm good to hear about. You enjoying it? You enjoying learning about it? And what are you kind of putting together? Thinking about streaming. Are you gonna stream games? Art? I was already a Blender fanboy, so it wasn't a big jump. That's good to know. Art, of course. Hey, good on ya. Good on ya. That should be cool. Yeah, sweet. I mean, I would always say just do it. Yeah, fuck yeah. Proper topology. It's crazy. I was dreaming of wire mesh models. Oh man, so you've been doing like a ton of practice then? Uh, I assume. From what you're saying, probably, yeah, been practicing so much. Ton. Good. Practice is, well, or practice and learning is a very simple. Seeing wire mesh in my. Fair enough. I mean, it'd also be a big, like, learning curve in general. That would be wild. So I don't like makes them creepy. an ultra close up. Um, extreme close up. That's or an extreme fucker's mouth. That's something. Relax. It sounds like you'll be pretty busy. Uh, flat out for a little while. The, all of this stuff. Busy is good. Is good as long as you're like, managing it well enough. If you're overworking yourself, then it's being busy is not less productive than break. Tsundere spinach, everyone's least favorite recurring character, appears between the teeth. Oh yeah, ugh. Yuck. Hate seeing spinach. Tell them they try and like pick it out with their tongue and it's ugh. Yuck. Yuck yuck. But we want Maka to be likable, so we're not gonna throw spinach in his mouth. Yeah, the nervous tension was positive. Graham very wise to a that's it is what it is. I may not know too much about too much, but I know about overworking oneself stress. So you don't want either either of those system. Mouse, do you notice a shift in writing in games? The normal line would be if you can reactivate the main generator and I can get our shields back up, I'll mark the objective on your map. Versus, hey buddy, you're really good at that. Shooting that is un problemo though, and that is a bunch of monsters on the planet are going to tear our eyes out if we don't get that back up. And this is just my opinion, but not having eyes is gonna suck. Does it make any sense? Is it more that now games are getting a little bit more quippy? Will they focus on the quippy dialogue as opposed to the purposeful dialogue? And now there's a bigger emphasis on like having big, big, larger than life characters and stuff. Or have I fixated on the wrong thing? Like older people trying to relate to young. Oh yeah, yeah, older. Okay, older people trying to relate to younger. I guess so. I could also just be trying like in an attempt to make uh more realistic dialogue. They've actually gone and made dialogue more alienating in a sense. Thing is, like realistic dialogue is actually pretty awkward. Master Chief, where are you going? Outside. Wow, we are in the middle of a space battle. Why? To give them give the Covenant back their big pew device. Or a lot of pop culture and uh spooky reference. Yeah, that I understand. Yeah, they're trying to be a little bit more like timely. That just means that your stuff won't age well. I don't get that. I agree. That's odd. It's definitely. I think it's also shortcut writing. You know, it's like you're trying to make your characters relatable, and so you try and topical references as opposed to building characterization. I think in that respect, it almost comes across as like shortcut writing, but not in a good way. They think it's a shortcut, but you're actually riding a bike through the bushes. Huh? You know what I mean? If you're in the Tour de France and you want to get ahead quickly, ride like a bike through some bushes, and you're not actually doing better because you've injured yourself going through crippled yourself going through the. That's why I couldn't watch the Flash. One character is all about I know comic book characters and Star Wars references. Oh yeah, dag, no thanks. Oh good lord, that's a horrible shortcut. Yeah, exactly. But it's like it's it's my analogy for that kind of system where it's like you want to make a character relatable quickly, so you go, oh, this is a timely reference, you know, a reference of the time. And then it's like, well, it doesn't make this character likable, but it means that I can relate to them in some aspect. And I don't want to be mean, but like shallow-minded people gravitate to that because it's almost like a quick comfort character. A little boring, but like, hey, if you find a character comforting like that, then might have stop you. But hey, if you like this character, find them a comfort character for this reason, then maybe try this character. They're actually more in depth. I've also learned that people don't necessarily care about depth. Sometimes they just want like a character that they can root for. Sometimes that makes sense. Root for or align with, build their morals around. You know, the whole Ryan Gosling, this guy is me thing. That stuff as well as that. You want the yellow vest or not? Yeah, exactly. You want that yellow vest? You're gonna have to make some sacrifices. It's the hi do do young folks type of people. How do you do young folks? Yeah, how do you do fellow kids kind of thing? Yeah, a little bit. I think so. It's also just like writing. Apologies, guys. Pardon me. Just having a snez. Bless you, and just in case, bless you. Thank you. These times. I'll need them. Need the blessings. Yeah, I think writing is supposed to be hard. Supposed to be complicated. It's an art form. It's gonna be complicated. People who kind of just do cuts like that, it just kind of making it harder for the people who are actually trying well, which is a little bit shit. Easy shit. That in itself is really boring. Then you get people gravitating towards boring ass characters. So the alternative. That's why I also couldn't watch Big Bang Theory either. It's just nerdy references, laughs, which, by the way, take away the laugh track. Big Bang Theory, and it's just awkward to watch because no one actually talks like that. Yeah, that, and then also like if you watch the Big Bang Theory with the laugh track removed, there's just these huge pauses for laugh tracks, which is super awkward. Watch without them. You just have characters, make just a quip, and then there's silence for like maybe 2 or 3 seconds, which is insane. It's an insane amount of silence for a single joke, especially. And absolute dead silence, too. Oh, yeah, no one speaks, no one says anything, no character talks. It's wild. Does cut down on writing time, though. You can just put in big old blocks, jokes, and then you cut out like half the time. Oh yeah, Zombie Slayer. It's fine if I switch off, then I can half at a pleasure. Like I just don't want to watch Big Bang. Yeah, exactly. It's like ugh. However, the prequel show Young Sheldon is actually funny to watch. Oh, I didn't know that. It's kind of avoided it. Sadly, I'm not really a young Sheldonite. It's really it. Like, what more could I really do? I don't know much. Oh, shadow layer. Exactly. To me, it's a show. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Oh no. Hey. Also heard this explained that since they are such nerds in Big Bang Theory, why would they be talking about such basic stuff like the Hulk or Thor? They've been nerds all their lives. Why would they lives they would know that kind of stuff? Yeah, exactly. They're having superfluous argument for the sake of audience, because they would have resolved that argument a long time ago, or they would have just straight up known a long time ago. Go bulbous nerd.
Ah.
Also, haha, let's laugh at the being nerds humor. Yeah, feels derivative. We're in a we're in a uh, world full of grown adults, and we're still doing the hot nerd shtick. Also, if you've watched, I can't remember the person that does this. Basically, like, there's a guy who talks about the way that each of the members of the Beans, great, the Big Bang Theory, each of the guys, each of the nerds is actually like is a depiction, like has a depiction of misogyny or like these guys are creeps in a certain way, and it's like yeah, the way they treat women up to a certain point um is misogynistic in a weird or interesting way, and none of them are like um innocent in that sense. They all commit some form of consistent misogyny against women. Yeah, Tia knows what I'm talking about. Tia knows. The Pop Culture Detective does the video on it. I can't remember, but yeah, and it's a fascinating thing to watch because it's yeah, seeing that YouTuber, not that video, just the YouTuber. Yeah, I mean some of the uh, Pop Culture Detectives videos are fascinating. Like the one positive that could be taken away from Fantastic Beasts is that Newt Scamander is actually a really positive depiction of male vulnerability. Um, and then he's sidelined in the later movies because he doesn't fit their narrative anymore. It's a huge shame. But yeah, so he does a video on the misogyny present in Big Bang Theory. Each of them is guilty of some kind of form of it in one way or another. Some more obviously than others, because like in the early season, Howard is a sex pest essentially. But then you get characters like Leonard who condone, uh, who comment and judge on the others' like treatment of women or um, his their like perspective on women, but he never um, condemns or confronts their behavior. So he actually ends up encouraging it, and his own behavior towards Penny is actually quite um, aggressive at point. Is yeah fascinating to listen to. Like it definitely wasn't the intention of the director or the showrunner, but it ends up happening anyway. To bring that. To me, it's one of those shows that went on for way too long. Oh, that too. That too. Yeah, it went on for way too long. It lasted well beyond its means. Absolutely. Oh god. But I always feel a little bit out of practice. Gotta be practicing more. Really. I've already said my opinions. Dead. If not, well, same with Walking Dead. It's too long and the ending isn't an ending. It's more so here are the spin-offs. Yeah, and that's yeah. Even lazier writing where you just don't have an ending. You just go, oh yeah, and here's the room for the here's that real estate for all those spin-offs that have planned or that the uh, company has planned. Like the freaking stuff where they were just trying to make spin-offs and spin-offs and spin-offs because they knew that they didn't respect the source material at all. They actually they hated their audience. Like it's been revealed that the show not show producers for The Witcher actually hate their audience and have mocked their audience on multiple occasions. And so yeah, they had no intention of actually making The Witcher like in a way that did justice. Cavill tried to stop him, tried making shit up about him. And in a zombie apocalypse, you could at least try to make some sort of armor. Can't get the best, but make something. But no, they often go out in jeans and shirts. Yeah, and they get bitten constantly. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, yeah, lame, lazy. The Witcher. Scratch said, I remember the fan complaining, but yeah. Oh man, yeah, no, the Witcher showrunners hated hints that they were making content. If I'm correct, they didn't even like the lore itself. Yeah, no, they didn't. They regularly mocked it. And the fact that the writer of The Witcher out and said that Henry Cavill's depiction of Geralt is the best depiction of Geralt in any media goes to show that he did care. I mean, Henry Cavill cared. There's a reason why they hated the fans and the lore. They wanted to make money. That was it. And then they were like, "Oh, The Witcher is a really popular IP." So when TV show was announced, it was just at the end of like all the success of Wild Hunt, the game Witcher 3. And so they were like, "Hey, we could make a lot of money from this." So they, and people were like had rose tinted glasses, but their producer really didn't care about never read the books, never played the games, just knew The Witcher from its popularity and was like, "Cool, this is an avenue that can be exploited." Like a lot of, you know, producers content these days. Um, yeah. So they thought they could kind of like throw in the towel, like cash it in and make whatever they wanted, but under the Witcher name. But then like people reacted to that and were like, "You can't do this," and they were like, "Yes, we can." And when Henry Cavill was like, "No, no, no, you can't do this. You got to do this properly," they were like, "Oh, we're getting rid of Henry Cavill." Oh wait, we have to actually give a shit and do our job, but I don't want to. I just make money. Exactly. That was kind of their mentality. And now, like, no one's gonna watch the next season of Witcher. Liam Hemsworth is Geralt. Who shit? I don't necessarily hate Liam Hemsworth as a person, but not Geralt, not Henry Cavill. So happy sometimes. Sometimes I have a radar for this going to be bad and this will be good. Yeah, well, the first season was fine. Like genuinely, the first season of The Witch and first season of The Witcher was fine, and then it just slowly got worse. And because Henry Cavill was contractually obligated to keep going, kept going. But end of season three was his last season. Kicked him out. Got rid of him and tried to spout some bullshit about him being toxic, like a toxic person to work with. And nobody believed that, so they just dropped that like as quickly as possible, quickly as they brought it up. Fans viciously said uh, their opinions, which they go off and say whatever you like, but then or no, that is Henry Cavill was like, I'll do all the heavy lift, has to be more accurate. Yeah, and also part of the draw for some people that Henry Cavill was going to do a good job in that he was going to make sure that they were lore accurate. And at first they were like, "Oh yeah, no, that's totally okay because we want to do the best job that we can." Like just talking absolute shit to interviews and stuff. And then yeah, and then he kind of didn't let stuff slide, and they were like, "We need to get rid of him. Like he needs to go, otherwise we can't just IP." If I ever watch The Witcher and see Liam Hemsworth, that's fine. I get that he's doing his job, but whenever I see Henry Cavill, I think that's The Witcher. Yeah, exactly. He is Geralt of Rivia. For all intents and purposes, he is The Witcher. Many people, uh, for many people, he is Geralt. But also, there's a big like fan petition to get people to just boycott uh, next season. Yeah, if they're going to take Henry Cavill from us, from a role that he was born to play, then it doesn't deserve to be. This show doesn't deserve to be made anymore. It's done. We've decided. People calling Henry Cavill toxic is like Cersei in Game of Thrones saying that Ned Stark stumbled out of a prostitute house drunk. Like, okay, sure, but just make up bullshit. Yeah, just make up shit. It's like no one's gonna believe that, and nobody did. They dropped it pretty quick. It just ain't big enough. It ain't big enough. And then bit of a just a bit rotund. Like incrementally rotund. silver platter with a red carpet behind, and Henry Cavill did the thing where he runs as fast as he can because it's that bad. Yeah, exactly. And they fucked it up. Fucked it up. They were like, no, we don't really want to put in effort to make a good show that people will like. We don't act. We actually have just absolute contempt. These people, these nerds. Fucking have nothing but contempt for these. Outward to not a Witcher fan, but as a Halo fan, the show nearly killed you. I never saw a single episode. Yeah, I saw. I watched one episode. It's bad. It's bad. I also saw a breakdown of why it was bad, and oh god, I still agree it's bad. Animation. So I feel the pain of the Witcher fans just elsewhere within you. Yeah, we can like everyone can kind of respect. uh, If this is a joke, it's a good joke, and if not, I mean live action. Oh, there's actually live action. Got it. Oh right, yeah, live action Witcher. I mean the not live action. Yeah, animation. I've heard good things about, but yeah, I don't know shite about it. Like, which animation and or a small of the most of an almost anime style Halo thing. Oh, I don't know about that. Wow, that's cool. No idea though. No clue. Don't know anything. Halo. That's terrible. In the back of my mind, I thought it was fan made, but there was a chance seeing mentioned Halo show. That's fair. I mean, that's fair. Uh, Not no good. We often like animations that aren't always accurate, but and aren't always canon, but we generally like them. A new ending stream, Lord Mouse, in about 10 minutes. I'll be going in about 10. I'll stay consistent with my usual pattern. really want to get this body form right, but like I don't get it done before. I'm trying to come back and be fine later. Sometimes you're just not in the right drawing space for certain things. Bodies. Well, I like it. Fast change. You. But I got knighted. Got a knighthood and a lordship. Describe it more. I'll find links if you. It would do it. My booty. Got a capital B booty. That I just paused for a moment while I was figuring out what I was doing. It's a knighthood. Come on, mouse. Huh? I know a knighthood and then a lordship. I need a. I need more than a knighthood to become a lord. I've read Berserk. I know that much. You ever been knighted by the queen? Didn't think so. A little bitch. I mean, I haven't been knighted by the queen either. I never will. Okay, cool. Checking that he had. By the way, I'm currently trying to do a Bob Ross style tree in. Ooh. The enemy was pink, not grey and blue. Hmm. Weird. Should just need to space. Almost. 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 There you go. Ally was pink soldier. Ooh, like he's with someone else fighting the enemy. Right. There you go, starting to get some answer. Excellent. Excellent. Uh, like muck in a bit portly. Kind of looks slightly naked. But it's romantic overtones. What I recall, I'm looking off. Hey, gonna find the answer. One of you is gonna find the answer. Ugh. Oz. Oh, it's bugging you now. Oh no. That's not any of that. Oh, let's make apologies for that. I just had to mute myself to have a sneezing fit. Terribly sorry. Terribly sorry. Okay, yeah, that's probably a fan animation, which aren't canon, but it's great. Because the only waterfall scene I can think of is in Halo Legends. Found it, Mouse. Can I post it in Discord? Go for it. Go for it. I'm about to end stream, so I won't pop it up on stream. But yeah, if you want to post it in vids, that'll probably be the place for it. That wasn't pink. That my memory played tricks. Oh yeah, it's like the I can't remember what it's called, but the Mandela effect. Or our brain remembers something different from what it actually was. End stream. Why? You're leaving us? Your viewers with everlasting loyalty? I'll be back tomorrow. Chill the fuck out. No, it's okay. I will be back tomorrow though. My stream has I've changed my stream like days. I'll be streaming Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. There you go. That's a good point in my timeline. I think maybe. And it could have also been like a very like you may have actually like it may stuck in your memory because there was something pink in your periphery when you saw that. So as a result, you now associate it with pink, and your brain kind of that it's power, not power. That Spartan was pink. There's a whole host of possibilities. But yeah. But with that said, I'm actually gonna. So first thing to do, save, take the draft off, and export JPEG. So then when we raid into another stream, we got something to show off. They want it. Cool. All right. Now, let's look. Who do we want to raid into? Who's on? Evie is on. That's good. That's always a good thing. We got, oh, it's a few people. We got just Ellie will do. Oh, sorry. Uh, okay, so not to get so all actually on you because I'm not an asshole, but that's not Master Chief, but a completely different Spartan from the Halo movie, Halo Legends, which is a great watch. Learning things. Raid, Mouse, Dum Dum. What? Looking to raid. Doing it. Tonight. God, I don't feel. By the way, Mouse, do you have a Mandela to share with us? What's mine? I have a pretty strong memory for things, so the, my Mandela effect, I probably don't. Not currently off the top of my head, not that I can think of. Um, yeah, no, I can't really think of anything currently. Raid Mouse, no exceptions. We love Mouse, and not you, fake Grey Mouse. I can't raid Grey Mouse. He doesn't appear on my friends list. Can't do it. I can't do it. Gonna have to just raid a friend of mine. Ugh. My nose is now so snotty, which is horrible. Horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Uh, yeah. We're gonna raid to just Ellie will do. Or Ellie. No, you're just an asshole who doesn't want to show Mouse some stream raid love. Can't. Oh shit, Sea Dog VA is raiding. Not raiding, is playing. Jump King, Jesus Christ. I'm not raiding Sea Dog VA. That's big. That's big news. That's a big guy. Lord candidate who discounts his opportunity for knighthood. Comic created the artistic Grey Mouse raid. Fair enough. Thank you all so much for staying with me tonight. Fine, don't care about Mouse. I like him more, anyways. Fair enough. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. But until then, bye.